The end of World War II left the French army without a real heavy tank. The ARL was being developed, but this tank was far from being modern. In March of 1945, the French started designing a more modern tank. A company called the AMX Company, they presented a project to build an AMX M4 prototype with a 90mm cannon. The M4 closely resembled the German King Tiger in general form, but the turret wasn't constructed whole and was welded in sections. The turret was also smaller and only had 30mm of armor. Two prototypes were made, but the army soon indicated that 30mm of armor was unacceptable. In response, the AMX Company increased the armor and replaced the turret. This resulted in the first prototype design of the Tier 8 AMX 50. No other prototypes of the AMX 4 original design were ever made. What's up everyone, WizardKen here with another Xbox 360 World of Tanks video. Now today we are covering the AMX M4 45. Now, this was, like we talked about in the intro, another prototype for the French, more like the ARL, a transitioning tank to learn and to make a heavy tank. Now, this is similar like the ARL, I mean in the sense of design. We'll just do a 360 real quick around this tank, and then we'll show off the ARL. And as you can see, pretty much similar in design. The back end's a little different, and of course the tracks are a little different. Of course the tracks are a little bit smaller. The back end is not slanted in the back, it's more leveled off. But as you can see, the tracks are more armored, or at least covered with armor this time. But like we talked about in the intro video, this tank really suffered with the amount of armor it had on it. Now the ARL, we'll just take a look at that real quick, had 120mm in the front. It had 110 in the front of the turret, but the rest of it was 50-50 on the hull, and then on the turret 30, 30, and 30. And then as we look at the AMX M4, a big difference in the armor. I mean, you lose a good amount in the front armor of the hull, which is 90. The sides, rear, and the other side is 40mm. Now, the turret in the front is 80mm, and the sides are 45. That is a huge difference on this tank. Now, you do get a different turret on this tank later on, which I'm not aware of the actual armor that it gets on there. I would say probably 100 or something like that on there, if I'm not mistaken, on the last upgrade. If I can look, yeah, the next one is 100 and 70 on the side and 40 on the rear. So not an amazing tank in the sense of armor. Now, I've done a lot of research on the French heavy tanks, you know, to try to get a better knowledge of these tanks in the sense of how they work and stuff like that. Because the ARL, when I hit that tank and I looked it up, you know, a lot of people were saying you need to be a sniper with it. So I was wondering, how are the other tanks going to be along this line? And pretty much the same result came out, which is you need to treat these as a supportive role tank. These are heavy tanks, and they have hard-hitting barrels on them. They could do some nasty damage, but the problem was with a lot of these tanks is the lack of armor. You really lose the armor as you go up the line, and which is pretty sad in that sense. I mean, because it sucks that you go out there and get shot up. Now, unlike the ARL, who had 820 hit points, you do go up to 1,100 hit points on this tank. You do about a speed of 35 kilometers an hour. Like we talked about, the bigger, you know, turret, you'll get about 100 armor in the front, 70 on the side, and 40 on the back. But the hull is still nasty. 90 in the front, 40 on the side, 40 in the back. And unlike the ARL, like we talked about, you do get more armor on the tracks, which is nice. It does help out a little bit, but As we talk about the weaknesses of this tank, you're gonna see it's not gonna help but so much with this tank. You're still a little bit exposed on the side and in the front, and because you have to angle this thing, and you gotta hope to God you can angle this thing decently around the corner and stuff like that, or even when you're looking at somebody, just trying to get that 30 degrees angle kind of thing kind of is hard sometimes, and you'll see why once we look at the tank. Now the nice thing is it does have a decent view range of 360, but really what makes this tank awesome is the radio. Now we don't really talk about the radios ever. Of course, the radio signals is what you're able to pick up from your friends spotting people, and so you can know where everything is on the map. Now when this thing is upgraded fully, it does get a 750 meter range radius, so that means you're going to know where the enemy is if you have your friends out in front, which you should be, because this is a supportive tank. So anyways, this thing is a little bit quicker with the traverse speed in the sense of the turret. Let me see. I'm sorry. The traverse speed with this thing is 30 degrees a second, so that's not bad for the turret to be able to move. It's a little bit quicker than what the ARL was. So, but anyways, guys, let's get into the damaging spots on this tank and just talk about that for a little bit. Now, of course, the lower plate's going to be a weak spot on this thing, but we're going to look at the upper plate. On the left side, there's a little gunner port, a little machine gun port, and that's going to be a good spot to shoot if you want to take out like the gunner kind of thing, loader, and it also will damage this tank. On the right side, of course, is going to be where you see the viewport, and that little box, little thing sticking up a little bit on the upper plate is going to be where the driver is. So not a hard spot to take out the driver. And then also you have a chance of taking somebody else out too, as you look at the pictures. Now, if you look at the top of this tank, of course the hatch is going to be a nasty spot to hit, but not too bad. I mean, it is rounded and it can ricochet a little bit, but not the most amazing. Now, on the pictures, it's not going to really show that this frontal armor is going to be easy to pen, but seriously, guys, you're in tier 7. You're going to be seeing tier 9s. As you can see, it's not very rounded. I mean, it is sloped a little bit, but it's not the greatest, guys. It's not going to protect you very much at all. I've been hit pretty much everywhere on the front of this tank. As you can see also is that gap between the turret and the hull is nasty, and your turret ring gets knocked out a lot. I mean, a lot. So you're going to be like firing without being able to turn your turret a lot. So make sure you have those repair kits handy with this tank. On the side of it, we'll start at the bottom part of the hull near the tracks. The front part, the main wheel on the track is able to be damaged, and also the rear one. You'll track the person, but you'll also do damage, so those are good spots to hit. They're big and they're in the open. Now, if you try shooting with HE rounds through this plated armor on the side, you may damage the tank, but it's pretty much going to go through the first layer of spaced armor, and it's going to blow up on the tracks and barely do anything to this tank. Now, if you're looking right at the middle of this tank, just like this, if you look at the pictures, right there is going to be a nice spot to ammo rack this tank. On the rear, where it's red, it's going to be, of course, the engine. You can catch it on fire, gas tanks, stuff like that. Now, going up to the turret, right in the middle, pretty much again, just left of the French symbol, is going to be a nice spot to shoot to hit the commander, and also that front layer in the front of the turret is going to be a good spot to hit the gunner and take him out. Now, if you look at the French symbol, that is, of course, a white area, which is ammo. It's an ammo rack spot. Just like the ARL, it's very exposed to ammo racking very easily. It happens to me a lot. Moving to the rear. On the rear, you're going to see, of course, like I said, this whole entire area is a nasty spot to shoot. It's just the entire engine, just like in every other tank pretty much, except for the Germans. Now, on the back of the turret, it's an even bigger spot than the ARL was on the sense of storing ammo. If you can shoot this thing in the back of the turret, I highly recommend it, because you're going to ammo wreck this thing very easily, and pretty much kill this tank. I've been one-shotted very easily with even smaller tanks because they ammo wrecked me. Now, moving to the side of the tank, you could see it's very similar to the other side, except one difference is at the top left where you see the French symbol. That is going to be just a weak spot pretty much. It's not going to have ammo on there, so it's just a good damaging spot, just kind of like the ARL, of course, where this big bulky box looking thing is sticking out on the side of the turret is a good spot to knock out the commander. But everything else is pretty much the same. We've talked about all the bad things about this tank, and it sounds like there is a lot of bad things, and there's a lot of bad things with this tank, but of course, like we said, it is not a T-29 which you would be facing in this you know, in this tier and stuff like that. It's not a brawler. It is a supportive tank, so you're gonna have to treat it like a tank destroyer / arty kind of thing. I mean, you've got a lot more armor than the arty, but you've got pretty much the weakness of an arty, so you need to act like a tank destroyer and stay back and shoot your fellow tanks up, you know, the enemy tanks up. Now, the benefits of this tank is, of course, the barrels. Now, you start out with a 90mm, and it doesn't change really on the first and second package. It stays about the same. It's going to be 7 rounds, almost 8 rounds a minute, 135 pen, 240 damage, which is not the greatest to be having on a tier 8 and 9 battle, because you're really not going to pen these guys. Of course, like I said, this thing goes up a little bit on pen, but not enough to really make you say, hey, this is an awesome tank, woo, yeah. You have about 7 rounds a minute, 170 pen, 240 damage. Now, and you're sticking with the same turret the entire time. The only thing you're upgrading is the engine and the tracks, now, which sucks really badly, because this alone, I thought once I bought this tank, the first upgrade would go down. No, it doesn't. This actually cost me 33,000, somewhere around there, to unlock. The next one cost me about, I want to say 14,000, somewhere around there. I can't remember exactly, but it cost me a decent penny just to even unlock this one. The only thing I got on this was a track, or not a track, but an engine. The engines and the track are the only things that's upgraded. I thought it was just I thought it was just the engine, but it is the engine and a track. So on both of these, well, on this one you get an engine, this one you get an engine and a track. So let me clarify that, because I fucked that completely up. You get on the first upgrade an engine, okay? On the next one, you get an engine and a track, okay? So engine on the first upgrade, engine and track on the other one. Which sucks, because you just paid 33,000 for an engine. Now you're paying like 14,000 for an engine and a track or something like that. And all these barrels and these turrets you've already have. And it costs that much for that fucking thing. That's the only thing I have to say is bad about this tank. Now, on this one you do get a 105, which is nice. But these are all the same barrels you got on the ARL. Now you get 6 rounds a minute, 165 pen, 300 damage. You do lose 5 pen, but you do gain a lot of damage. So I am going to leave this on instead of using the last 90mm. I do lose a little bit of accuracy. The accuracy on this is 37 to 38, which is really pretty badass. And this one's 40 to 44. So you do lack in your accuracy. Now the next upgrade, which I do not have yet, I still have, I got about 6,000 left to go on this one. You are going to get a better turret, which is going to be that upgraded turret, 170 and 40, where on this one you are 80 and 45. Kind of sucks, guys. It really does. So you get a little bit better turret up there. And then, of course, your last upgrade, which will be the 90mm, which this shouldn't cost me anything. Really, to be honest with you, since they're the same price, that means once I buy this one, it's just the turret that I have to unlock. This one should be free. So I will be switching to the 90mm because it is a tier 8 barrel. Unfortunately, I will be seeing tier 9s, and that will suck. Now, this one does go up in damage, or in penetration, 212. You do get about 7 rounds a minute, but the damage is 240. So that it does drop a little bit, but I'd rather have the pen there. Plus, your accuracy goes from 0.36 and 0.41, which is better than the 105, but not as good as the original 90, which was the 37 and 38. This one fluctuates a little bit more than the other one, so you're gonna have to look out for that. Really, to be honest with you, I'm not going to go over the consumables because you guys know how we work consumables. Also, the equipment, the same thing as the ARL. You don't want to spend too much time, you know, aiming in and this and that. So you're going to want to get that enhanced gun laying drive, of course, and that the gun rammer and stuff like that. So anyways, guys, let's take this out and see how this thing does. Alrighty, guys, we're on Fisherman Bay Encounter, so everything's going to be in the town. This is not really the game for us because, of course, this involves us getting into close quarters areas, and we're not going to be that great for it. So we're going to try to stay back as much as possible and play this tank to our best abilities. Now, what are my thoughts on this tank? Well, they're very mixed with this tank, to be honest with you. There's some good things, there's some bad things. To be honest, I prefer the ARL over this tank. Reason why is you have a tier 6 tank that has a tier 8 barrel on it. I mean, right now I have the 90mm barrel tier 8, and it is nice to have, and it is nasty. Now, of course, I'm only doing like 240 damage, but Jesus Christ, I do 212 pen, and I'm only going to see up to tier 8, which is nice. Now, I do lack in hit points, which is only 820, but I do make up for that with being able to stay back and using that nasty 90mm. I usually do very, very well with that tank, making really good silver, and usually about 1,300 in just experience points without ×2, which is pretty freaking awesome. Now, like I said, this tank, a little bit different. I mean, you get the same barrels, which is nice. Bad thing is that you're going to see tier 9s with this thing. Possibly. And I magically hit something. It looked like it was going there, and I missed. So, yeah. So it's not the greatest thing to have fun with when you don't have, like right now I only have the 105, which is a tier 7 barrel, and I could see tier 9s. That's not the greatest thing to be seeing. I don't know what is blocking my way out. The damn side of the church. And then like some kind of post thing maybe? I'm not sure. There's a KV-1S. But there we go. There's that good hit. Gotta keep hitting them. What's screwing us up are those church hills on the hill. And they're coming in from all over the place, shooting at everyone. Shooting at everyone, and we can't get anybody on the base. For some reason, our guys think, hey, let's go up to the town in the middle part and just do whatever. Like, seriously, look at them. They're right in the middle. That's dumb. Very dumb. There we go. Another good hit. But also, I mean, this tank has its benefits. I mean, like, we've got protected tracks now. I mean, that's really, really good. But the bad thing is I'm always getting the ammo wrecked. I'm always getting my turret ring knocked out. It's a pain in the ass to have that happen. Actually, I've already played 2 other games than this, and I need to get out of here. And I've gotten my ass handed to me because I've been tracked, and then I've gotten ammo racked, and then I've gotten it just so easily. But it looks like we're going to lose this game. Yeah. Yeah. Our team failed. Fucking idiots. Alrighty, guys. 20,000 in silver, 415 in experience points. Yeah, we came underneath a couple guys that I can't believe were underneath them because yeah. Anyways, we did 1,506 in damage, and 9 shots fired. 5 of them actually penetrated. So, anyways, guys, we're gonna have more videos on this tank as we get the bigger and better barrels on them and the other turrets. So, don't worry, we're gonna have some better battles with this tank. It's just right now it's very hard to get good battles. Of course, my last couple of battles I've done with this tank, I've just lacked in the my teams have been very terrible, and also, of course, the lack of penetration with its tank sometimes really screws you over. So, but we're gonna have some more ones. But you can see me sitting back in the back. I mean, I got shot at once. I was able to ricochet, but I was able to hit pretty much everybody. I mean, you know, I hit a pretty good amount of my targets, and I was trying to shoot 105 millimeter, which is not as accurate as the 90 millimeter, through small gaps and stuff like that, praying and hoping that they're going to hit the person and not the buildings or the structures around them. So I feel that wasn't too bad in the sense of what this tank is. To be honest with you, I'm probably not going to like this tank in the end, even with the new turret. I just think there's too many things wrong with it as a tank itself. It's just going to be one of those ones I'm going to push through because I really don't like it. The ARL, the reason why I still have that is because that is a decent moneymaker and a decent experience points. Like I said, usually some games I could do 1,300 experience points just on a single win without ×2 experience or the French ops. So it's not a bad tank. So I'm going to probably keep the ARL 44 for a while until I'm like, I need the money for something. But I scrounged around just to be able to get the AMX M4 without selling the ARL. So that's how I feel about that tank. I really like the ARL. I mean, I had a lot of fun with it the other day playing it. Couple things real quick. One, I'm not able to upload every single day. I'm trying to do it every single day like I usually do. It's just these edits like this make it very hard for me to do that. These take me a while to do. And it's not very easy. Also, I've been trying to do, I did a little bit of a live stream with Cosmic Carry the other day on his channel. If you guys haven't looked at it, it's Cosmic Carry 123, all in one line, no spaces. Go check him out. I'll be jumping on there once in a while and stuff like that. I know he's going to be doing Twitch, I think, every Wednesday through Friday or something like that, or Saturday. I can't remember. So get on his Twitter account, look up his Twitter, and check it out to see when he's going to be doing that, because I'm going to be jumping on there with him when I can until I get my Twitch stuff all figured out again. This coming up Saturday and Sunday, not this week, but next week after, that's when we're going to probably do our subscriber party. I've got all the details written out and worked out. I just have to do the video about it. So I will be putting that out probably tomorrow. So that's all I can think of right now. But like I said, guys, just be patient with me on the videos. The more elaborate I get with these videos, the harder and harder it is for me to upload like 1 or 2 videos a day. So just be patient with me and stuff like that. So anyways, guys, I'm WizardKen. Till next time, see ya.